paperglitterglue.com, and it's day number 7 of the Great Halloween Spooktacular, where I'm showing you where I've got crafts every day for 20 days. But also, I'm doing a live showing techniques to try to just kind of liven up, or not really liven up, but just kind of give you extra techniques for your Halloween crafts. Yesterday, we did texture paint. Now, I saw somebody in my Facebook group. Oh, wait, actually, let me turn this light off, my halo light off. Made a yellow spooktacular house, and I thought it looked really good. So I made a miniature version with my Cricut Joy, and I used some yellow paper from 12 by 12 cardstock. But then yesterday I showed you texture paint, and I decided yellow was a good color. Oh, and I found this at one of the hobby stores, and I paid way too much for it, but it's really cool. It fits perfect for this house. So this is the one I made with texture paint. And I just really like the way it looks. I didn't do it on the roof, but I did it on the house itself, and I'm just really pleased with it. I'm going to make a circular base so that it fits in here, and I think that's going to be fun. Okay, I've got to scroll on my other computer to see if there's a chat. And I don't think so. I can't see the chat. So I'm going to I have to go to a different browser because YouTube likes you to use Chrome. Let's see if this is me. Nope. Just a moment. It will just be a second. We're making pumpkin spice paint. And let's see if I can see. Oh, I see chat people. I see Sonia. She's always here. I think she's in Alabama. And Tiffany and Delvine, I think. Barb, Sandy. Nice to see all of y'all. Okay, so kind of an extension of texture paint is what I call today is pumpkin spice paint. Years ago, I made gingerbread paint where I mixed a bunch of gingerbread spices in with some brown paint, and it looks just like gingerbread and smells wonderful. It's not like crazy strong. It's not like lighting a gingerbread candle, a candle with gingerbread fragrance in it. It's not that strong, but you definitely notice it. And when the paints were drying last night, I could tell. Let me show you where I am. This is the one that I've made. Let me see. I made it a dark brown because I thought for Halloween, instead of being kind of a rich, warm brown for Christmas, I wanted a darker, slightly spookier brown. And so now let's get started. I'll show you what you need to make it. You need relatively inexpensive acrylic paint. You don't want to use your expensive paints. I like Tim Holtz distress paints, and they're like little tiny bottles, 1 ounce for $7 or something. That would be crazy. So I buy some paint in bulk. You need a jar to mix it up in, or a plastic container. I like a jar because you can save it and reuse it. You need some pumpkin spices. And the other thing about them, and don't get fancy pumpkin spice, just get the least expensive you can find. And let's see, stirrers. I've got stirrers. And I believe that's it. Okay, I'm going to go to my top-down camera, which means I have to switch it myself here with my computer. And then remember to hit done and turn the light on. There. Okay, I hope that works. So this is my batch that I made yesterday. And overnight, the spices kind of absorb water, and so it gets a little bit thicker. So I've added some water, but this is really probably too thick. You can see that's very thick. So all you have to do is add more water. So if you leave your paint overnight. Okay, let me see if there's a little thing here. Yes, I'm going to open this one up. This shade is called Raw Umber. Okay, let's just squirt some in there. That really should be plenty for a house. This is about a 4-ounce tube, and I probably put 1 ounce. Oh, I keep forgetting we're seeing 1 ounce in my jar. And let's take this off and add some spices. It's like cooking. And let's stir it. Actually, I like the little plastic knife for this, but you can use a palette knife if you want. And somebody said it looks like icing, and it does. And it also has a bit of a texture to it if you add enough. Okay, so I think it needs more. I'm actually smelling it to see. I think it needs more, because that's why you're going through all this. You want to add enough so that it's got a good fragrance to it. And then remember, don't overpaint it. Don't put a paint on top of it or a sealant on top of it, because that would definitely cover up the smell. Okay, let's see. Oh, there, we're getting there. That's good. And it's a good texture too. See, I think that's a good enough texture that I can paint. I'm going to add a little bit more. And if you add too much and it gets too thick, just add some water. Acrylic paints will mix with water. Oh, and look at this color too. This is a good Halloween color. Well, it really looks like chocolate, like a dark chocolate. Okay, really, that's it. That's all you need to do. And now, let me make sure I'm pretty. I got my trusty old brush. Always use an old brush, and you actually want a stiff brush. You don't want it to be real soft and flexible. You want a stiff brush because you're obviously using a thick paint. And let me get this is my Halloween template. I'm using Spooktacular House #1 as the example. That was the easiest one to cut out. That's why I did that. Okay, and I primed it, partly because when this thick paint dries on one side, it gets it warps your paper a little bit. So I actually primed it on both sides, hoping that it doesn't get very warped. And let me show you on the original one. So what I did on this one was once it was dry, I put it under like my cutting mat, a flat thing with some weight on it, so that it dried. And it's not perfectly straight. You can see it's a little wonky. But the other thing is, we're going to glue, just like we did on our houses, we're going to glue some things to the back to make it stronger. So that will help. Oh, I forgot one thing, one important detail. If you're going to paint with thick paints like this, you must fold along the score lines before you paint it, because they'll be very hard to find. They'll be basically, your score lines will be covered up with these thick paints. So I've already done that. And then if you notice that it opens up, like when you fold it to put it together, then I just do a little touch up on the sides. So don't worry about that. All right, next we're going to paint. Let me get this out of the way. And there's not much of a technique to it. The only thing is, you want enough so that it looks thick, so that you've actually got the spices there. So see what a nice layer that is? And that's one reason I actually primed it with white, so I could tell if I was putting it on too thin, the white would show through. But I like a thick layer because that's where we're going to get our fragrance from. Now, somebody asked, I think yesterday, could you do this on cardstock? I know my friend Jackie, whose project is day number 7 in the Great Spooktacular. In other words, it's today. She paints on heavier cardstock, like 120-pound cardstock, and I've painted on 140-pound watercolor paper. I really like that. In fact, I think I have a house that I did it. Yes, I'll show you in a second. Sorry, it was right behind me. You see how easy that is? And then, we're just going to let it dry. I made a mistake. You know what my mistake was? I didn't pull out something to put this on. So I'm going to have to find a scrap piece of paper. Yes, always have a place to put your stuff so it can dry. And then I'm going to show you another fun thing to do that I think really makes it when you use this technique. We're going to pipe some icing on, not this one, on the one that's already dry, and try to make it look Halloween-y. So what I'll do is I'll film this today and I'll show you tomorrow. And I'll post it in my Facebook group if you're on Facebook. There we go. Doesn't that look good? It looks edible, that's for sure. Okay, now I have to find, I've got a paper towel here. Not too bad. Okay, I'm going to set it beside me just a moment. Next, we got to deal with the hands. I did think to bring some wet paper towels, or, baby wipes would be good too. Okay, I'm wiping my hands just a second. All right, pumpkin spice paint. Spice? Acrylic paint. Oh, and you can play with the colors. If you want different colors, you want lighter colors, you want a lighter brown, just add some yellow to it, or if you want a gray would work fine. So that is the paint. But I think really what makes it is that we make it look like food. We make it look like a cookie or a decorated gingerbread thing. Okay, so this is what I did. I made icing. So I'm gonna set that down and I'll show you what you can use. All right, I bought a bunch of things to kind of check it out. This is called, might want to, modeling paste, and this is modeling paste, and this is called light molding paste, and that's what I ended up using. It was the softest and most flexible, but all of them can be mixed with water. All three of these can be mixed with water so you can make them more flexible. In addition, I mixed them with paint. I use, I have a lot of craft supplies, so I use kind of a combination of some yellows and orange. I didn't want it too orange, like screaming jack-o'-lantern orange. I wanted it kind of muted, but I didn't want it pure yellow, so I kind of mixed the three. Now, the disadvantage of that is if I try to reproduce it, I don't know the proportions. That would be hard. So you have to do enough so that you can cover your house. And I just mixed them up in, like actually they were pretty firm. So I used a bowl and then I just kind of washed it afterwards. So, but you can just mix them up and use a disposable, obviously you want to use a disposable icing bag. And I used a relatively small tip. Okay, let's see how it works. Oh, yeah, I actually got it to a very good consistency. So I think I'm going to be able to pipe things and decorate this little house. So I'm doing the decorations before I add all the background pieces. You know how on this house I put the, wait, let me show you better. You can see it better on this version. I put the window design in the back, so I'm not going to add that until I get this icing done. All right, let's see. I haven't iced in a while. Oh, shoot, and I don't think I did a roof. Maybe I did a roof. So, but like I said, I haven't iced in a while. So, this is probably a pretty big tip. I thought I was choosing a small tip, but this is, I think, number 5. Well, let's see if we can do like a spider web design. Let's try in a corner, like side corner. And that's okay. And you're going to have to let this dry. You're going to have to just put it somewhere safe, where kids or cats or dogs won't mess with it. Yeah, there we go. Well, that's just going to have to look like I meant to do that, as it's scary. So this is light molding paint or light modeling paint and paste, light modeling paste mixed with paint. And you can see it pipes really easy. And if you're a detail person, you would use, or maybe you make a lot of cakes or something and you're good at icing, then you would definitely use a smaller tip. The other thing is, perhaps a simpler house with fewer windows might work better. Let's try just something up here. It's not exactly spooky. But anyway, oh, somebody said they're terrible at icing bags. It's just play. When you do it a lot, you get much better at it. Are we there? Oh, I'm back. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, I'm back. All right. Let me change cameras again if I can. All right. So what I was showing you, I finished my crude decorations. I thought the number 5 tip was small enough, but it's actually too big for a house with this many windows. But I'm going to paint the roof. So I'm going to paint a roof piece. It'll be all black or it'll be all gingerbread. And then, let me move this out of the way. And then I'm going to do stuff like glue these little candies on top. See, the Tim Holtz candies are just so cool. So I'll show you that tomorrow. And really, I believe that's all for me today. But I think that you will have fun doing this. Oh, another thing about these Tim Holtz candies, and he's maybe having his live right now because he talks forever. He started at noon, but he can talk for hours. But I think these candies are still available. And the nice thing about them is they're very flexible. So if you want to trim these to make to have them fit on your roof, you can do that, or make them for fence posts and stuff. So I just wanted to show those to you, but I'll show you the roof. And actually, I will probably redo this with the smaller tip, because I've got plenty of my icing ready. So I'll probably redo it on the other one I just made, and I'll show you tomorrow. And I'll also put it in the Facebook group. And I need to email people, so I'll try to put it in. Oh, sorry about that noise. Into my candy collection. Yeah, you can see I was a hoarder, because sometimes products go away. So, and I love these candies. So, okay, let me see. Yes, the frames will go in the back. The frames, I designed this one different from what I usually do, but these frames are a separate piece that go in the back. And the nice thing is it also reinforces the backing, so it'll be less lumpy when the frames are in the back. No, so the windows are not done. Oh, so somebody said, oh, they were asking, I don't know if they were talking to me or to each other, but yes, whenever you do crafts like this, a lot of it helps to be retired. Although I did them for a few years when I was still a pediatric ER doc. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions. And I'm going to sign off. And I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to make little leaves, and they'll work really well with these houses. So I'm going to show you how to stain leaves and make them look realistic. So yes, get Tim Holt's Halloween stuff. It's so much fun, and it fits so well with these kind of crafts. So I love his stuff. Yes, if you're at a stamp expo or scrapbook expo, that's a good place to find it. Okay, alrighty. I think that's it for today, and thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you tomorrow. And oh, be sure and check out the house in the Great Halloween Spooktacular today. It's from my friend Jackie Smith, and it's funny scary. It's funny scary. It's so good. The Monster Mall Manor. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.